They don't think you could do it, but tell you to try when they talk. All I hope had to keep it alive. Spend a day in the Bronx, but you wouldn't survive. Can be low when I pop out, they know I've arrived. I go have conversations with Zoe, he gon' tell me pull up and come say what you know. I've been up, I can count all them days in a row. We don't say what we do, we be making the show. They say I'll be
the voice of the Bronx. We have Bronx Slam with the guys that are out here. Can I get a
yeah? Leave them all right where they at. Try to diss me, I bet I don't even react. Put a show on, I bet you somebody gon' I pick me a book up and drink me some water, invest in the stock. All them kids don't be bad.
All right, peace and love, world. Welcome to another episode of Conversation with Zoe. We are here on another special day. We got my guy DNA in the building.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Great
sir.
to finally meet you, my brother, man.
Facts.
I'm honored, man. I'm honored. You know, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors today, Gabriel's Beloved. You can find us at gabrielsbeloved.com. Gabriel's Beloved was created in 2017. In everyone's life, we have someone or something that is beloved. The mission is to stand out and have a clothing line that is relatable to everyone. It is fashionable and can be worn as streetwear or high fashion. And you can find them on Instagram at Gabriels_Beloved. So I need you how to send it to you because the sponsor said he want to send you some stuff.
I bet, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll get that info to you afterwards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we're going to start right here, right? You said I ain't know somebody could die in the crowd like Malcolm X. Mm-hmm. Yet you should start it sooner, but I got a hit in the building. And if I call him, he gonna spark the Ruger. And you ain't gonna know you could die from somebody on a balcony like Martin Luther.
Yeah.
You trying to pack him up with that line early.
That battle, that was last year, actually. That was a lot of pressure. So that was like a new guy. His name is Tubbs. Yeah, and I was in Houston. Shout out to my man Scotty Houston Barcode. And you know what I mean? He went first. It was a 1-round battle.
Right.
And he was going off. So you know what I mean? The energy was just, you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. Like me, I like battling a lot of new guys because I feel like, you know what I mean, they got that energy that we used to have when we first started. So it kind of, you know what I mean, reminds you to get in that bag. So, you know what I mean? And plus, you had a disadvantage. So I like challenges. So, you know what I mean? He had all his people in there. They all rooting for him. He's from Houston. So, you know what I mean? There was a lot of pressure on me going second.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sometimes people be like, going second is a good thing, but it could be a difficult thing if the person that went first is a lot of pressure. So, yeah, I had to find my way up. Like, me as a lyricist, I knew my material was still better than his, but just being in a moment, I'm like, I got to do something to get the crowd on my side. So that's how that rebuttal came about.
I like that. I caught that. I was like, I got to bring that up.
Yeah.
That's a good line right there. But one of battle rap's household names is none other than DNA, the highest viewed competitor in the culture, flow, freestyle ability, a plethora of experience, and we're going to get money and drink water. That's what we're going to do, right?
For sure.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Get money. What does that mean? Get money and drink water. What does that mean to you?
So, how it originally started, it was like somebody that was trolling me on my Instagram page. And my response was like, yo, get money and drink water. And, you know what I mean? They was confused, but for me, it was more so like, yo, listen, if you getting money and, you know, water is just like, I would like say the surface level thing, but water means like, you know what I mean? You putting good things in your body. You feel good about yourself.
Right.
You don't got no time to hate on nobody else. But if you wilding, eating bad, you broke, not doing what you're supposed to be doing, of course you're not going to be happy for me because you're not happy for yourself. So that's where that came from. And then after that, it was a bunch of people that liked the comment and started laughing under it like, yo, that's funny, get money and drink water. So I'm like, yo, I might be on to something. And then after that, I just, you know what I mean, came out with the song, came out with the merch.
Right.
Then I came out with an album. And then everybody liked this. So I'm like, yo,
I'm fucking with that.
That's a good motto, good phrase, good slogan to live by. Get money and drink water.
I like that. How was being on ESPN?
Yo, that was a beautiful thing, man. Shout out to my guy Roland. So, yo, it was crazy, right? I'm gonna tell you a story. So what happened was one day out of nowhere I get an email and it's Roland, and he's like, yo, I work for ESPN. I want you, Tay Rock, Hitman Holla, and Sue Surf to do rap battles consisting of, like, the sports games and the outcomes for ESPN. So, you know, when I read the email, I'm like, I don't believe it. I'm like, yo, this is not real. This is like 2017. So I was about to bypass it, but you know what I mean? I always kept the mind state of like, I mean, what's the worst? It could be fake. Like, I'm not about to give nobody my address or nothing. So I'm going to just reply and see what he's talking about. So when I replied, he gave me his number. And then he FaceTimed me, showed me the ESPN studios. Like, yo, let me let you know it's legit. And then at the time, Hitman was doing Wildin' Out. So Hitman couldn't do it. I don't think Tay-Rock even responded to the email. And at this time, I wasn't, like, cool with Tay-Rock how I am now, where I would have told him. Sue Surf had just got locked up.
Right.
So then they had nobody else to be a part of it. And he was like, yo, can you find... do you have anybody else in mind? And I was like, K-Shine, because that was my partner. So, like, K-Shine. So he's like, yo, yeah, I didn't even think of K-Shine. Like, that'd be perfect. Like, y'all do the 2-on-2s. So me and K-Shine went to the ESPN studio. We did a mock demonstration of, like, what it would be like if we really did the battle. And it was the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Warriors. That's who was facing each other in the NBA Finals that year. And after we did it, everybody there loved it. But I think a lot of people that was part of the staff, they didn't really understand battle rap. So they was like, yo, it's cool. But they kind of was brushing it off. And this guy, Roland, was so adamant about us being a part of it because he believed in it so much that his boss kind of like brushed it off. And he went to his boss to tell him, like, yo, listen, he's not taking this serious. This is the views they generate. This is what they're capable of doing. And what makes the story so interesting is because of him doing that, the higher up came at Roland's boss like, yo, how could you let this slip through the cracks? Like, you see what we got going on here?
Right.
Like, look at these analytics. We got to get these guys a part of it. And Roland's boss ain't like that, so they wound up getting him on like a fake sexual, let me not even say sexual, on a fake harassment claim, and he wound up getting fired.
Damn.
So the guy that introduced me to ESPN to get me in the door wound up losing his job behind trying to get me and K-Shine on ESPN.
Right.
So now I'm at a point of like, you know what I mean? And this is why I say, like, I never compromised my integrity and my loyalty for no opportunity. So, you know what I mean? A bunch of people that was close to me was like, yo, that's a no-brainer. You still got to do it. Because after they fired him, I guess to insult him and rub it in their face, they wanted to move forward with still putting us on ESPN. Because, you know, obviously everybody's seen us on it. So at this moment, you know what I mean? I'm like, nah, it's on Rolling. Because I wouldn't be in this, like me, I'm a type of person, if I wouldn't be in this position because of you, I'm not going to just look at the position and override it. I'm going to remember who got me there.
Right.
So I called them, yo, they still trying to move forward. I don't know if you know about this, but being that you lost your job, do you still want me to do it? If not, I won't do it. And he was like, yo, if you don't do it, I lost my job for no reason.
Right.
Do it. And then that's how we wound up doing ESPN. Right. And I really strongly believe they just did it to throw it in his face. Like, we got rid of you and we're going to use your idea. Because I believe if he would have kept his job, we would have still been doing it longer.
Right.
Like, originally, it was supposed to be a whole season for the football thing. And it only turned out being 4 episodes.
Right.
So, I mean, it was a bittersweet thing, but it was great exposure. I mean, it was a good look, nice check, great exposure. But, you know what I mean? That's the crazy story that went into that. So shout out to my guy Roland.
Yeah, definitely shout out to that guy Roland.
He put it all on the line.
Yeah, he really did for what he believed in.
Lost his job behind that, so it's crazy.
True. Shout out to him, man. Cheers to that guy, man. If you owe me money, I better not see you with no blue check. That's $14.99 that can go towards your debt. I got that from you.
From where?
From your Instagram.
Oh, okay. Oh, that was a post I put up. Yeah, that's a fact.
I was like, yo, I gotta bring this up, man. Yeah. They're going crazy right now. You saw how much money Instagram made off the blue checks?
Yeah, they went retarded.
Yo, son.
Yeah.
That's a really big bag.
Big bag.
So what do you think? All right. What is who does a person have to be that it makes it acceptable to pay for it?
I mean, so I got 2 outlooks on it, right? And I can only say my outlook on it. One way is because I am who I am. So when you look at it from that perspective, you like, I would never pay for that because, you know what I mean? But it's like looking at it from like one lens. Because if you are a celebrity, you frown upon it like, yo, why would you pay to be known?
Right.
But looking at it from a deeper lens, it's like, yo, the reason why they took away likes from Instagram, right, is because, all right, we all got coping mechanisms. For some people, it could be drinking. Some people, it could be smoking. Some people, it could be a worse drug than that. Other people, it could be painting, video games, basketball, wrestling, whatever it is. And, those things was accepted early on in life because they've been around longer. Social media is kind of new. So now I feel like all of us frown upon people when their coping mechanism is social media. And I had to get over that because at first I was kind of like, yo, when you see people just everything that happens in their life, they're broadcasting on social media, like, yo, come on, like, what are you doing? But then I realized, like, yo, for some people, this is really an outlet.
Right.
So when I look at it from that side of the lens, I get it. Like, that check makes you feel important.
Right.
Like, when you take away likes, everybody's on an even platform.
Right.
Now you don't see who has 50,000 and who has 5, who has 2.
Right.
Like, it started becoming a thing. People was actually hurting themselves, committing suicide because their posts weren't getting likes.
Right.
And when you look at it from one side of the lens, like, yo, that's crazy. Why would somebody do that over that? But from another side, life is hard. So it's certain people that's like, they don't got friends or they don't got outlets and they really look at social media, they got low self-esteem and this is what they grew up into. You see what I'm saying? Like how we grew up watching Juice and Above the Rim, they grew up on Instagram, TikTok.
Right.
So anytime something happens, that's their validation, that's that. So when you look at it from that side, I get it.
Right.
Like now I have importance.
Right.
That check makes me feel like I'm one of those people. Now my only issue with it is that, right? So I got a whole page that that poses as my tooth. I got a whole bunch of people that act like DNA doing all that. So my only issue with giving everybody a blue check is like now you don't know who's the real who.
Right.
And I think that was the main reason why this stuff was even created. So that's my only issue. Now somebody can make a page, act like whatever celebrity, pay $14.99, and now you won't be able to tell the difference.
Right.
And that's the only issue to me. Other than that, I mean, whatever makes you happy, makes you happy.
Right. Anybody who knows me and is in my camp, hit me up first, because I got DNA's number, all right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you know what's up.
Yeah, I say that to say, like, I mean, like, at one point when the check first happened, it's like, you're going to know it's me. Now, you know what I mean?
Right.
You're not really going to know.
Right.
So that's the only downside that I feel about it.
Right. Since I have him in Philly with no shot, Ben Simmons versus Holler the Dawn.
Yeah.
What's wrong with Ben Simmons, bro? Gotta coach him up, bro.
Yo, man. Shout out to Ben, man. Like, I don't know. What team you on right now? The Nets?
He in Brooklyn. Yeah, he's in
Still
Brooklyn. He's in Brooklyn.
All right, yeah. Everybody else, I don't. Yo, it's a lot of guys in the league, man. Just like it's a lot of guys in battle rap that start off with like promising careers and then injuries or politics or things start. I mean, I feel like if he really was injured, you know what I mean, or I guess just the lack of playing or whatever, like it kind of put like a disdain on like what he was doing because he was doing some good things in Philly.
Right.
I mean, and now I feel like, like he's like an afterthought now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
do you think that could be not really loving the game?
I don't know if it's not really loving the game. I mean, like, yo, like I have conversations with people and, it's like, it's killer instinct, man. So like, yo, you'll be amazed what some people do when they under pressure both ways. Some people are crack, and you'll be like, how you do that when you had this opportunity? Because if you had the same opportunity, you've been waiting for this to go all the way. Some other people want the opportunity and they don't want it when it's in front of them. And some people never asked for the opportunity and it just got brought to their doorstep. So they're like, hey, fuck it, I'll deal with it.
Right.
So, like, you never know. Like, but killer instinct is a big thing. Some people can't handle that pressure when the lights is on and they crack.
So this interview was originally going to happen on the day Biggie died, March 9th. So I still want to bring this up because it's a fire line.
Yeah.
That you said. You said, I sleep with the ratchet, Bill collect at the crib. Well, shit, let him inside because I'm notorious for having a baby blown out on the cover. Are you ready to die? Whew. What a fucking line.
Yo, you really paying attention.
Come on, bro. Think about that day, right?
Yeah.
We were supposed to do this March 9th.
Yeah.
I had to bring Biggie up that day. Of course. And you had a Biggie line. Are you ready to die?
Ready to die.
Come on now.
Yeah.
That's a tough line right there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Notorious B.I.G.,
Shout out
man.
to
Biggie, man.
Shout out to B.I.G.
Where does this stuff come from? Like, how do you piece it all together?
Yo, so I mean, for me, like I really, my first 3 years of rapping, I was just freestyling.
Right.
I used to just walk home from school. Shout out to Lloyd Banks. I mean, how everything comes full circle, because
Right.
that was my favorite rapper growing up.
Right.
I mean, my uncle wound up giving me a More Money in the Bank mixtape. First rhyme I heard was, I ain't the richest, but I'm richer than y'all. Shit, Banks is like the young Will Chamberlain. All I do is fuck bitches and ball. So after hearing that, I was running around telling niggas that rhyme like it was mine. And then they wound up playing it on the radio when he did the Funk Flex freestyle, and niggas caught me. So they like, yo, that ain't yours. That's the nigga Lloyd Banks. And that's what actually made me start writing my own rhymes.
Right.
So after that, I just started freestyling. After that, niggas like, yo, you can't rap. So every day after school, whatever was around me, I'll just start freestyling about it. People giving me words, doing all that at 11. So from that point forward, it just kept advancing. And then, you know what I mean? It is what it is today.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
That's how I started, though.
Right. How's your mom doing?
She's good. She just turned 70.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, just turned
That's
70.
lovely, man. Mother's Day weekend's next weekend.
Yeah.
My mom just turned 61
Fire.
last month. Yeah, so.
Fire.
How old were you when you lost your pops?
9.
9.
Yeah, my mom and my pops. So like, I feel like when you grow up, like adversity builds character. So
Yes, it does.
you know what I mean, and transparency. So like, the one thing like, cause you know, with any relationship that you got, especially with parents, if you being realistic about it, you're never gonna agree with everything that your parents, you know what I mean, do or say. That's just how it goes.
Right.
But one thing I loved about my mom is that she was always transparent. So at a young age, she used to bring me, cause my mom, my uncle, and my dad, they both suffered from like drug abuse. And I lost my uncle because of that, and my father. My mom was the only one that survived it.
Right.
And my mom used to bring me to meetings as a kid.
Wow.
So I and there was other kids there too, but I would firsthand get to see, you know what I mean, and understand like this is an addiction. So like I got a sister, and she never went to those meetings. She's 12 years older than me. I'm 32. She's 44. But even to this day, she has issues with my mom because she never got to fully understand it. Like when I went there and understood, like this is not by choice. This is a disease that takes over people, and they're no longer themselves. So once I got to really understand that, I kind of never held a grudge against my mom or my dad for them having those issues and them not being present in my life. And I was fortunate because I was in like a little, I don't even remember this shit because this is like before I was 2, but I was like in a ACS with a foster family, and my grandma got me out of there. And then for the rest of the time that my parents was dealing with their drug issues, my grandma took care of me. That's why I got this chain. My grandma passed away last year.
God rest her soul.
Yeah, but she's like my mom.
Right.
So she took care of me, and then you know what I mean, like, and even though she didn't agree with what my mom and my pops was doing, she'd never badmouth them, never say anything negative. So you know what I mean. And then with my mom, I got to see firsthand like actually what the effects of alcoholism and narcotics and all those type of things do to people. So it kind of shaped me to understand, you know what I mean,
Right.
what was going on. At 9 years old, I already understood why my dad died.
Right.
You know what I mean? When most kids at 9, it's like you be able to process death at that time, but you're not gonna understand like boom, boom, boom. So
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, I had to bring that up. I was 22 when my pops passed.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, the age don't matter.
Yeah, the age don't matter, you know what I mean? Because you still got to live with it. You know what I'm saying? It's something that, it comes in waves. You know, some
Yeah.
days you good.
Yeah.
Other days, certain things hit you. You see a little sign or something come up,
Yeah.
a picture come up on your phone, an old memory.
Yeah,
and-
for me, it was like anytime I seen kids with their fathers. And you know what I mean? Like even now, you know what I mean? At 32 years old, and you know, to somebody else, I'm living this amazing life. I got so many accomplishments and accolades under my belt, but you know, for me, it's like, you know, what good is that what good is that when you can't share it with the people that, you know what I mean? You know, be like, yo, I'm proud of you. Oh, wow, look what you can. You know what I mean? Because you meet people on a journey, and a lot of times when you meet them on the journey, they just seeing you at the end of the journey. Right. The biggest reward is the person that watched you from the beginning of the journey and say, look at you here now. That's why, like, you know what I mean? For me, even my dad didn't get to see, I mean, you know, watching, yeah, but I'm saying in the physical, he didn't get to see the journey. But like my grandma passing last year, she got to see me become DNA. My uncle died 6 years ago now. He got to see me becoming. So that hits even harder because it's like they seen it. And then it's like now I added so much more to it 6 years ago and so much more to it in a year. It's like, damn. You know what I mean? But that's always a testament to life that I always try to tell my kids, tell my girl, tell anybody that's a friend, like, yo, cherish life and then respect it and love it and be happy about it because you're never gonna have everything. No, that's you have $1 million. You're not gonna have you're not gonna have everybody with you that you would want to celebrate that million with you. Right. Yeah.
We gonna touch a few M's in my life, and I know I'm on the brink of it.
For sure.
And it sucks because I come from a family that not everybody wants to break those generational curses. Yeah. You know, so I'm a disruptor. So I'm the person like that sees, like I was blessed to be conscious and see things, and we gotta heal, we gotta go to therapy, we gotta save money, we gotta invest money. There's so many things that we have to be doing better and more of as a family. And not everybody is really jacking that. Not everybody's really on that same frequency. So not everybody's gonna come with me. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be people from my family on the outside looking in onto what's going on. Like 5 years ago, I was like this in Europe, you know, doing my podcast like this by myself. And would you tell me 5 years ago I have DNA across from me? I wouldn't have told you that. But I knew I was doing something though. Yeah. That's the one thing in my heart that I knew, that I felt that, yo, Zo, you doing something. And even though these are your perspective or when your heart, whatever, it's important because it changes the narrative of the hood. You feel me? Like, I'm from the South Bronx, so I'm gonna tell you what the sidewalks look like. What going to school looks like, playing sports, respecting your parents, doing the right things, because all of our life is based off our choices. Whatever choices you made yesterday is gonna affect you tomorrow. Facts. Feel me? So there's a long-term effect to short-term decisions. So whatever decision you made, that's what your life looked like today.
Nah, what's so crazy that you say that is because that's like the same thing that I dealt with in my family. Like, so, you know what I mean? Shout out to my sister, because what's so crazy, right? I'm gonna just be so transparent with you in this spot. I don't even talk to my sister. We don't get along. Right. But I respect what she did because she broke the first barrier. She's like literally one of the first people in our family to graduate college with a master's degree. Right. You know what I mean? So that was like my motivation as a kid. Like, wow, you know what I mean? My sister did something nobody else did in the family. And I was like, yo, I wanna make sure I do, you know what I mean, the same thing. So with me, it's like everything, even eating. Cause you know what I mean? Like growing up, you know, in a black family, you eating all type of crazy shit. And then you start realizing later, like, this is not the stuff you're supposed to be eating. So now when I got my daughter, she's 3. Like, yo, nah, you can't have that every day. Nah, we're not doing that. You got to do this. Because it took me all the way to 32 to be like, yo, I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week. I'm going to make sure I take red meat out of my diet. I'm not going, I mean, like, I turned pescatarian at the top of the year. Right. But it's like, those things are, like, unheard of. Right. You know what I mean? Discipline and, you know what I mean? Like you said, like, generational wealth. Like, nobody taught me about credit. Nobody taught me about buying property. Nobody taught me about saving money. Nobody taught me any of these things. This is all what I'm learning on my own. So, like, when the average person that has been taught that looks at us when we haven't been taught that and says, oh, you know what I mean? And they look at it as, which in a sense it is ignorance, but it's blind ignorance. It's blind ignorance. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when you see a rapper get money and he buys a chain or he buys a watch or a crazy car and, you know, somebody else looking at it is like he's ignorant, but what does he know? Right. All he knows is his family that they couldn't even obtain this. Right. You know what I mean? They didn't even know how to get from square A to square B opposed to the kid and the child that was taught all of this. And then they fucked it up. Like, right. You look at it that way, then you could be like, all right, at least you was given all the ingredients to make the right recipe. You fucked it up. But most of us, we don't even get the right recipe. We just figuring it out. Right. And I know it's a lot to ask to want to be
to me, personal development comes before financial development. Because I feel like you want to feel good about yourself, you want to heal, you want to be in the right state of mind to be ready to accept all of those things. That's what's happening to me now. Like, if I was 22 with this platform, I would have been fucked this up. But God was like, you know what? I'm gonna let you go through life, and I'm gonna let you see things and gain some experience and become more well versed, so that way you can talk to anybody from any walk of life and bring perspective back to the community. So for the young rapper from Queens who's gonna see this soon, I'm like, wow, like I didn't know all of these things about DNA, and look at all the game he gave me. Look at his transparency. Look at his vulnerability. See two black men sit here and give them something. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to we just talking about the Knicks for an hour and a half. You know what I'm saying? It has value. It has substance. You know.
Like shout out to my brother Rain, but like we be having real conversations. Like we'll talk about bullshit and joke like anybody else would do. But when you really want to, you really judge your friends by like what can they give you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't mean like money, clothes, or nothing like that, but like thought-provoking. What's going to stimulate your mind? So, you know, as time goes on, one of the biggest things for me, one of the most difficult things for me in life was losing relationships. And not losing relationships because I wanted to lose them or I'm a messed up person, but like you said, personal development. When you start reaching the person that you truly want to be, everybody ain't going to be with you no more. Because then you start realizing like, yo, this person don't want to do this. They want to be stuck in that zone.
Yes,
I can't hang with you no more because you just want to keep doing X, Y, and Z over and over and over and over and get the same results. And this happens and this happens and that happens. And you're not looking at the bigger picture.
Right.
So I always looked at it. And like Rain told me one thing that was so ill. He was like, yo, sometimes not just the money, but the blessing and the opportunity is blocked by who you around.
Right.
Sometimes the universe ain't gonna give you what you're supposed to get because you're around somebody that's undeserving, even if you're not undeserving.
Right.
But you just being attached to that, the energy is so real. You're not gonna get what you're supposed to get because you're around somebody that ain't figured it out. And then the ill thing in the walk of life is that everybody's not gonna figure it out.
Right.
And you gotta, and that's where I love from a distance comes in. It's so many people that I love from a distance now.
Right.
Like, yo, I love you, genuinely. And I hope everything works out for you. But if I give you all my energy and do that, I'm gonna be stuck in the same place as you. And I gotta know, like, yo, that's not what I'm trying to do.
Right. There's mad people that know me that don't see me no more.
Yeah, they can't.
You just can't, yo. Like I went through that phase with you. The memories is great. Like even my college homies, right? Like I can't reminisce about college every time we talk.
Facts.
I just can't, bro. Like it was lit. It's cool. Sometimes it's fun, but like we got to be talking about more than that because of where I'm at in my life. And as a man that does a lot of community work with my nonprofit and things of that nature, I've noticed that everybody has an opinion, but not everybody's opinion actually matters. So if we wake up tomorrow and the Metro card is 350, that person's opinion matters because it impacted the whole community, right? So I'm around people now that could really, their opinion and how they feel about me and my nonprofit could help mad people. So I got a nonprofit called Slice of Excellence, and we trade report cards for pizza. So every month we do report card parties. No, every 3 months we do report card parties. Every month we do perfect attendance parties. And the kids with perfect attendance in schools all over New York City, they attend a private pizza party in their school. So the people that are like, yo, Zoe, I work at TD Bank. I spoke to my manager, and we want to give you that opinion matters, right? But Instagram, whatever you bullshit, that opinion don't matter.
Yeah.
So I've now been able to be more selective and pay attention to the people that actually do matter because even though we know so many people, we love so many people, not all of those people matter and are going to play a factor in our next level, in our trajectory. You know what I mean?
You want to know what's so crazy, though, is that a lot of people take offense to this, but it's not a diss. Like, everybody's not qualified for every conversation. Oof. You feel me?
Talk to them.
Like, for instance, right? Like me, I'm the guy. Like, I'm the guy that can talk, and I got no ego. Whatever I want, I'm gonna get. My pride doesn't get in the way of that. Right. You can call me annoying, call me whatever you want. If I want it, I'm gonna get it.
Right.
I hit you 20 times to get it, because the end result is, did I get it or did I not? Right? And I understand that. And then I'm also the guy that's like, whatever my forte is, but I learned at a young age, like, you know what I mean? When it comes, like, for instance, I'll just say this, like cars. You know what I mean? I can look at a car and tell if it's nice, but I don't know what goes into it. I don't know about, you know what I mean? I just recently learned about leasing opposed to, you know what I mean, buying it all out. And know this, you know what I mean? If you get a Cadillac, you know, it has more things that could go wrong with it. If you buy a G-Wagon, you could pay it off, a tax write-off and all this. But before I learned all of this, if somebody's having a conversation in cars, I'm listening. I'm not qualified for this conversation. So a lot of people also get, like, people get offended because they're not qualified for every conversation. Instead of doing the dirty work to be qualified, they just want to talk.
Thank you.
And there's a problem. And then people also get confused with controlling, with being a leader.
Right.
Like me, I look at myself as a leader because I know when to lead and when to follow.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm not qualified for this conversation, I'm going to let you lead it.
Right.
I'm going to follow. That's what, I don't need to be a control freak. Like certain people get, because you want to control everything, you're a leader. That doesn't make you a leader. That just means you want to control this. You want to say, do this. But if you're telling somebody to do the wrong thing, that doesn't make you a leader.
That doesn't make you a leader.
So I feel like in society, that's the problem people have. They get the two confused instead of realizing, like, you'll be much better off in life, like I said, knowing what you're qualified for.
Right.
And then also, if you stop talking, because all these things go hand in hand.
Right.
Also, a lot of people talk to respond. They listen to respond.
Right.
They don't listen to obtain the knowledge.
Right.
So when I'm talking, you're not listening to what I'm saying. You're trying to give me an answer.
Right.
But if you listened,
Right.
you would be able to obtain something, and then we wouldn't have to talk about the same thing 30 times.
This is good because I was working at a charter school a couple years ago. That's how I came on my nonprofit during COVID. And, you know, I'm in a predominantly black school. You know, my principal was white, but most of the teachers were black, Hispanic, from the town. So I'm like, I thought I was, mind you, George Floyd just happened, Breonna Taylor. So we having these Zoom meetings about equity and inclusion and all. So I think I'm in the space to, you know, talk my shit, like, you know, just express myself. And one thing I had to know was, I was humbled because they used to take notes of the things you wrote in the chat during the Zoom meeting. So they would, if you said something kind of, I don't know, whatever they felt that was a little out of bounds or too much, or what did you mean by this? They would have you a meeting, they'd bring it up. I'm like, hey, why'd you say this? I'm like, what you mean? Like, I was chiming into the conversation, you know, blah, blah. So fast forward, all of that taught me to make sure you add value to a conversation. Not every conversation is yours to be included in, and some you just got to come listen, take what you get from it, and keep it moving. But if you're always the one talking and chiming in and all of that, then what are you learning, right? So I learned to be selective, pick my spots, and make sure whatever I say is going to add value to that conversation, and leave it at that. You know, so it was tough, but, you know, it was a valuable lesson, you know. How's fatherhood?
Yo, fatherhood is like, I would say that's like the best thing that happened to me in life. You know what I mean? Just, you know, being there from birth, cutting the umbilical cord, watching your daughter walk, hold a spoon for the first time, get to talking. Now she got her own personality, telling you what to not and what not to do. Right. And then it's like, it gives you like a new purpose in life. Like now you got somebody that, you know what I mean, you gotta, you know what I mean, that's really why I even, because I'm doing it for her, but I'm helping myself in the process. That's why I started taking my diet serious, working out, doing that. Like, I don't want to not be here or not be here the right way for my daughter growing up. And then teaches you patience, you know what I mean? Because you're dealing with somebody that didn't ask to be here and they don't know. Right. So a bunch of things that they doing repetitively, it's up to you to teach them the right way. Whatever you put out is what you're going to get back. Right. So, you know what I mean? It's a great thing. And then, you know what I mean, just how my daughter is. She's like, when you look at her, she's like a better version of me.
That's beautiful.
So it's like, you know what I mean? It's just a beautiful thing to just hear how smart she is. You could tell her something one time, she comes back, formulates it in her own way, talking to you, and then the caring. Like, you know what I mean? Like, daughters take care of their dad. So anytime something's going wrong, she's panicking with me. It's like the craziest thing ever. Yo, let's get this right, Dad. Dad's show's not going right. We got to do this. We got to do that. She's facilitating and moving around and all that. So, you know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. I'm happy to hear that, bro.
Sure.
You know, what does being from Queens mean to you?
Yo, it's everything, man. Whatever my dad and mom was doing when the beanstalk dropped me in Queens, I wouldn't take it from any other borough. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, yo, Queens, just being in Queens, like, every borough got their thing. Like, you know what I mean? Harlem gets fly. Brooklyn is, you know what I mean, gritty and grimy. The Bronx is, you know what I mean, kind of the same way. They on bullshit.
Right.
You know what I mean? And Queens is just, Queens get the money. It's like hustler, you know what I mean? It's just a hustler mentality. So just being from there, and then, you know what I mean, like the idols, the people that I looked up to. And now when I'm 32, they respect my work, like 50, like Banks, like Yayo, you know what I mean? LL Cool J, Mobb D, like almost everybody I listened to growing up in Queens, they reciprocated that love back to me. So, you know what I mean? It's a beautiful thing. Like, just being in that mind state, like, it's the biggest borough, it's diverse, which I also feel like I said, just growing up there, I feel like I'm a diverse person. Like, I could walk in a room with anybody and, you know what I mean, survive. I feel like I can do that any place in the world. And I feel like that's because my upbringing. Like, you know what I mean? You can literally be in one neighborhood in Queens and go through almost every type of emotion in every type of neighborhood in one neighborhood. Right. You go to one block in Queens, in the same neighborhood, it's beautiful houses and picket fences. You make the wrong left turn, you in the hood. Right. Projects. You go somewhere up the street, you can see this type of food, that type of food. Like, there's no limitations. It's not one set thing. So that's why I love it. It's beautiful.
Right. That's amazing. What were your dreams as a kid?
As a kid, I just wanted to be an entertainer. I just wanted my voice to be heard. Like, when I got to, like, around 6 years old, because what I used to do as a kid, every birthday, I used to do an award show. Wow. Shit is crazy. So, like, every birthday, I would have everybody that would come over for the birthday, adults, kids. Like, the adults would have to sit on the couch, wait, and with all the kids that came, my cousins, friends, all that, will write cards. And I made everybody write, like damn near poems, about the person whose birthday it was, and we'll read it to everybody there. So I was doing this at a young age. Right. And then after I just started seeing the response, and they're like, yo, Eric articulates himself well, Eric is smart, da-da-da. I'm just like, yo, I think that's my calling. Like, I couldn't articulate it in those words then, but I'm like, yo, I gotta be an entertainer. Right. And I would do like rap contests, song contests, rapping the other lyrics to see who could do it better. And then after that, it turned to, you know what I mean, rapping. Right. So, yeah, like, it was always that, like, entertainment. I want to be an entertainer. Right.
What sparked your interest in rap?
That Lloyd Banks CD.
That Lloyd Banks
CD. My uncle was, shout out to Uncle Cav, rest in peace, Uncle Cav. He was selling bootleg CDs. That was the thing. And,
right. Back in the day, yeah. So I got it. Man. Yeah, I was 10.
Yeah, I was in 02, I was 11.
Right. Oh, wow. So, yeah, I'll be 31 next month.
Yeah, I'm 30. I just turned 32 last month.
God bless, man.
Yeah, so he had his pack of CDs, and he was selling the G-Unit one. My mom bought it for $5 or whatever. I put that joint in, heard Lloyd Banks, because you know what it was at that time in life? Even though I had lost my dad and I went through stuff, my brain wasn't on to, you know, putting that in rhymes and doing all that, because I was, like, heavy into music in my household, but more so my mom with, like, Al Green and Tammy Terrell, Marvin Gaye, the Commodores, Temptations, that type of music, not hip-hop. So I never heard, like, Biggie and I Got a Story to Tell and all that. So I would just hear the commercial hits. And I'm like, well, I mean, I don't got Wild Girls. I'm not on Jets. I'm not doing, so I can't do this. Like, it sounds cool. So I thought, like, you know what I mean? Like, somebody like myself, what am I going to talk about? So rap was like the farthest thing for me. And then when I got that Lloyd Banks mixtape and I heard him just spitting metaphors and punchlines, I'm like, I could do that. Right. And that's what sparked me to just, you know what I mean, start battling and start rhyming.
Right. First battle you ever saw or witnessed?
First battle I ever saw, LimeWire. I mean, a lot of people now will never.
Right.
I had LimeWire. I downloaded Murder Mook vs. J Mills. That's the first battle I saw. Shout out to both of them.
Fire.
You know what I mean? I got bullets the size of Chinese crab sticks. Ooh. You know what I mean? You get smacked on MTV so you can get the direct effect. Mills the ones that they putting them checks under. I could pay your rent the next summer. I'm watching that. I'm like, yo, this nigga J. Mills is going crazy. And then Mook was like the first one. You and Charlie used to share jerseys.
Right.
Now years later, that's my bro Charlie Clips. Never knew until I met Clips. That's who he was talking about.
Right.
So yeah, that was the first battle I seen. And then after that, I was just buying them in my neighborhood.
Right.
Every Smack DVD.
Right.
So like, literally, everything in my life came full circle. I went from buying Smack DVDs
God bless
to
you,
being
bro,
on it.
for real.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So I went from buying
Right.
DVDs as a kid. Like, I used to do two things. I used to, like, because the one store I used to get it from closed.
Right.
So, and I mean, anybody that grew up with me can contest to this. Rain, sleet, or snow. Every month, I used to walk 30 blocks because I would only have $10. $20, I'm sorry. And it was too much to pay for a cab because if I paid for a cab, I wouldn't have enough to get it.
Right.
Or if I paid for the bus, I wouldn't have enough. So I used to literally walk from 107th Street to 75th Street on the same avenue once a month to get the new J Arms instrumental and a new Smack DVD. And the guy there, I think it was more than 20, but he just respected that. It was this 14-year-old kid coming every month to pick it up. He'd give me both for $20.
Right.
And with that, I'll write every beat on J Arms, and I'll watch the whole DVD, see what everybody's doing, and then watch the battle.
Right. A true student of the game.
Yeah.
That's fire. So we're going to break down 4 things. What comes to mind when I say lyrical?
When you say lyrical, that's just about, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of times people think lyrical is wordy, but for me, lyrical is just like articulating your story in the best way.
Right.
So, like, when you're able to put together whatever, and I don't mean your story. It could be your story, a message, you know what I mean, a simile, a metaphor. Whenever you're able to articulate that at the highest form, that's being lyrical.
Aggression.
You know what I mean? That varies. People hear that and think it's just one thing. You know what I mean? Sometimes people just got natural aggression. Sometimes people got controlled aggression. You know what I mean? It's like your mom could say, yo, sit your ass down.
Right.
And it's kind of aggressive, but it's controlled because it's not like, and then you got people that's just yelling. So, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, when I think of that, I think of like controlled aggression and then just natural, yelling.
Performance.
When I think of performance, I think of, you know what I mean, selling. Like, the best way to sell what you're trying to get, that's what performance is. Sometimes people think performance means moving around a lot. It could be standing still, but you just captivating on how your mannerisms is, how you moving your eyes or your face or your gestures to draw people in. You know what I mean? So, like, people hear aggression, they hear performance, and they think it's one thing, being loud and moving a lot.
Right.
When it's like layers. You know what I mean? So you could be standing in one spot and be performing your asshole.
Right. Freestyling.
When I think of that, I just think of, like, you know what I mean, like one of the most natural elements to hip hop, like free. You know what I mean? It's just whatever comes to it. It's ill because it's a thought process, but at the same time, it's like the first thing that comes to your mind. So it's kind of like what you're really thinking. When I hear you freestyle, I'm gonna know what's really on your mind.
Right.
You don't got time to scrap it, change it, rearrange it. Like, it's raw.
Right. Anyone have to eat their words as a non-believer in Young DNA?
Everybody almost. You know what I mean? Anybody that was a doubter, yeah. Like, I had family members. I had friends that didn't think I was going to do what I said I was going to do. And then, you know what I mean, for the people that I don't know, you know what I mean, like, the best situation I'm always in is the one that I'm counted out. Because obviously, now that we've been on this podcast and you hear my life, like, I've dealt with adversity and being an underdog my whole life. So that's the comfortable situation for me. So anytime I'm in that situation, I'm gonna excel to the highest level. So you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure I made at least over 10,000 people eat their words about me in my career.
Right. Was there ever an easy battle that was like a walk in the park?
No, cause the battle for me happens before I get on stage.
Right.
So it's been battles that when I got on stage, the person ain't do what I thought they was gonna do, but my preparation going into it ain't never easy. Like, I'm always scrapping stuff, changing things around, overthinking it, thinking about what I could do better, reorganizing. So once I sign up for a battle, the word easy's out the question unless it's, easy to block after.
Right. So, Holler to Dawn, pre-battle sit down. You said something that was short but profound. Cameras can tell lies.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean to you?
That means, like, you know what I mean? Like, even though somebody, like, shout out to Hollow, because, you know what I mean? That battle was kind of like therapy for us, and we in a great place right now. That's my bro. You know what I mean? After the battle and all that.
Right.
But that statement is just, like, basically, like, you know, a lot of times people be like, yo, he's just acting for the camera, or he's saying that for the camera. But even when you tell certain stories on the camera, people can read through it. That's why, like, you know what I mean? Cameras can tell lies. Like, believe it or not, a camera can really show when somebody's not telling the truth or when it's not authentic.
Right.
If you, like me, I'm a good judge of character, so I can read even watching somebody. So that means, like, even if I never met you, I could watch you on camera and be like, all right, this nigga's a good actor. He's selling this shit good, but he's full of shit.
Right.
Or I believe everything this nigga's saying. This nigga is the real deal. So, yeah.
Nowadays, a lot of people in the industry, you know, they put an image, you know, they try to portray things. Do you feel that happens a lot in battle rap?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I feel like in battle rap it's kind of a little more difficult because it's just like I've been on both sides of this on a spectrum. Like, there's a point, like, after COVID, I went into this phase of, like, I'm like, yo, I'm not going to use no gun bars when I battle. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to just go straight, you know what I mean, with being creative and being lyrical. And it was, like, I think about 6 or 7 battles where I used no gun bars at all. And in the course of that, the material was so amazing. But just the way society and the hip-hop culture sets it up, nobody wants to hear that.
Right.
Nobody wants, like it's an audience that wants to hear that, but I'm saying majority is like, right? So peep this, right? The whole time for whatever, because I'm myself, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people, even if you did do something, I don't feel like you're currently doing it now once you're in a place of making thousands of dollars battle rapping no more. But, you know, people pick and choose. So I was the guy that they'd be like, we don't believe DNA. We don't believe what he's saying. And I got to a point where, not because of them, but just because of what was going on during the pandemic with life and, you know what I mean, that war and the Black Lives Matter thing, I'm like, all right, I don't want to be a cause of continuing to, you know what I mean, talk about what we don't want to keep happening to us. Right. That was the whole cause of me going with no gun bars. And when I was doing it, those same people that said, yo, I don't believe DNA. Hey, man, I want DNA to get back to the gun bars, man. This shit is soft. This shit is sweet. So I just feel like, you can do music without talking about guns, clearly. But in battle rap, just for it being that aggressive, violent type of sport, like, they don't want to hear that. So I feel like even people that, you know what I mean? Because at one point, like the Sagas and the Losos and the Christian battle rappers, they came in on that. Like, yo, we're not going to talk about guns. We're not going to talk about that. And then everybody's fell victim to it because at some point, that's what, you know what I mean, the consumer wants to hear.
Right. So you've been in battle rap 12 plus years, right? How much has battle rap changed over the years?
Battle rap changed over like how fashion does. You know what I mean? We went from in fashion like to baggy clothes, to tight clothes, to fitted clothes, to, you know what I mean? New Balance was like orthopedic shoes to now they in.
Right.
To, you know what I mean, Yeezys and all that. Same thing with battle rap. Like when I first came into battle rap, it was like a heavy performance type of thing.
Right.
And then it got to a level of like angles where they just wanted to hear you break down your opponent, kind of like get personal. Then it went to a stage of like punchlines, like you had to have you be punchlines. Then it got to a stage of like random lines, like where you had to just spit bars that was tailored for anybody.
Right.
Then it went to like scheming. People were scheming heavy, and then it shifted to 2-on-2s when me and K-Shine started, and then it starts doing like what hip hop does in like regular fashion, going back to the thing. Now we back to a performance thing. Now then it went to like small rooms and big rooms, and Yeah, like it changes like every 2 years.
Right. It's round one. It's getting hot in here.
Yeah.
Right? So what made you start that? Like,
yo, what's crazy, right? So rest in peace, Fred the Godson.
yeah, right.
That's my guy.
A fact.
So I was
I rest his soul.
I was at a studio, Blockwork Studios, and this is like the first time I ever went live streaming. This is like 2010. And I went on there, and it was like people trolling in the comments. And I'm like, yo, man, get him the fuck out of here. Get him the fuck out of here. Just kept saying that. And Fred like, yo, I ain't gonna lie. Like, boy, like you might need to use that. I'm like, like what? He like, you gotta say that in a battle. Like, they going crazy. I'm like, you think so? He's like, yeah. And then right after that, I was battling P.
Ooh.
And I'm like, yo, it's round one. It's getting hot in there. Y'all know my slogan. Get him the fuck out of here. And then by the second round, the crowd said it with me.
Oh,
and
shit.
And me, like I said, I always pick up on shit. So I'm like, all right, they fucking with it. And then I just ran with it.
Right.
And then with Sue Surf, I'm like, well, I can't do the same thing I did versus So with Sue Surf, I'm like, nah, get that the fuck out of it. Get the security the fuck out of it. Nah, if anybody's in there, get the security the fuck out of it. So I did that one.
Right.
And then with Big T, I switched it to get, because, you know, at that time, me and Big T wasn't cool in his weight. So I'm like, get a gym class the fuck in there. Get Slim Fast the fuck in there. I started doing it reverse.
Reversing it, yeah.
And then after that, every time I battled, I just started finding new ways to flip it.
Right. That's super cool. I like the Knicks one you did recently.
Yeah. Yo,
so
what's so crazy, right, is that transcended in, like, almost anything. And, you know, people be on it, like, I get DMs literally, like, yo, what happened to the get him the fuck out of here? But life be going by, so sometimes I forget. Like, literally, I be getting reminded to do them. But, like, yeah, they went, like, the Tank and Garcia fight, I got 100K.
Oh, yeah.
When Trump got thrown out of office, I got like $500,000.
Right.
NBA finals. So like whenever I do that with the get the fuck out of here, it just goes crazy. It goes viral. So they love it. Yeah.
I like that a lot. So as you're battling, right? And you guys get a little close and personal. Anybody breath stink?
A lot of these niggas. A lot of these niggas got bad hygiene.
Right. We're gonna leave it at that. A lot of these dudes got bad hygiene.
Fact.
Right? Is there any line said to you that still haunts you?
Nah. Like me, I'm such a good sport. If it was ever a dope line, I could laugh at it.
Right.
Like, I mean, niggas said shit that's like funny. Like I'm the type of guy that, like, of course on stage I'm gonna keep the poker face, but like even like shout out to Un, like when I battled Un, I still had my tooth missing. He was like, something, your tooth is missing. You got cancer in your gum? Right. Like, it's funny. Like Briz Rothstein at the time, I was like running around making mad moves. So it was like a good, I want to say like 3-4 months. I let my mustache grow, and I was like, Negro, please. That mustache look like you in a Negro league. Like, I mean, so it be, you know, it's crazy. Like a punchline never really got me, but the jokes be like, I could laugh at it because it's funny. You know what I mean? Like I feel like yo, that was ill. But like haunt me like I lose sleep or bother. Nah.
Yeah. So what do you do after a battle? Like how do you decompress?
Yo, literally, right? So people don't understand. Like after a battle, I got like, it feels like you in a wrestling match, a fucking basketball game. Like your body's sore, you're tired, like you're exhausted. I just really just relax, like just go back to regular life, like spend time with the fam. And I mean, literally after the battle, we probably go out to eat, drink and shit. But like days after that, you just go back to doing, you know what I mean, normal things to get back in that mode, because it's like a relief. Like you just put the world on your shoulders going in there. So like for me, I just kind of like, you know what I mean? I don't think about it. I don't watch it. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to, you know what I mean? I don't want to do nothing that has to do with it, because like I just got out of that space.
Right. So the universe is really fucking with Zoe lately. Like things are really falling into my favor crazy. Shout out to my baby girl Tsunami. I went to my niece's 3rd birthday party yesterday, right? Fly ass building in the Bronx. Got a podcast studio in there. So, you know, I'm like, damn, I know Shorty hate when we out, and I'm start politicking with people, but I gotta find a way to find out who's in that studio. So the party was in this basement, and it's like this recreational area. So how it worked is like there's no service down there, so you just want to call whoever is gonna pick up to come get you upstairs. Perfect. Shout out to my man Joe Swell. Shout out to my softball team, the Hood Fellas. Joe Swell he just got there with his girl and his nephew. He's like, yo, come let me up upstairs. All right, perfect. I'm gonna go let this nigga up upstairs, and I'm gonna go see what's up in that podcast studio. And I met Mac Melly.
Fire.
Right? That's who's recording the studio. And we chopping it up. He's telling me, he's like, yo, I got a song with DNA.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, really? And it's actually called the Yeah Remix.
Yeah.
So that's right there letting me know, like, yo, Zoe, you doing something. Because these little things are just coming in and falling into your favor. And now I get to bring that up, something that I didn't know, right? So shout out to Mac Melly. And one of the things you said in the song was, she gonna do whatever off a few shots. I'm not interested in these new thoughts. Right? What's going on with these new thoughts out here? What's going on with these women?
Yeah,
man?
so right, like, it's real shit. Like, I feel like, yeah, because I was about to leave him out, but I'm gonna go there. Shit. Like, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels, right?
Right.
So I feel like some of the things Kevin Samuels was saying was accurate. I just feel like we so much into a sensitive time that people wasn't able to digest it. And like I said, talking to Rain, you know what I mean? We be having conversations just building on becoming better people. And we was having a conversation about, like, saying sometimes the truth doesn't have to be brutal.
Right.
Because that's what I thought.
Right.
And I mean, like, me, I was the guy, like, so it's two different people, right? Because I know certain people that'll just give you their opinion without you asking. I never wanted to be that guy.
Right.
So I wait. When you ask me, I'm going to tell you what it is, though.
Right.
And then I felt like that was cool. Yo, I didn't volunteer my opinion, but as soon as you asked, I'm gonna tell you. But then sometimes if your opinion or your truth is harsh, people still can't digest it.
Right.
So I say all that to say is, like, I feel like when I said that line, right, it's because I feel like, shout out to all the beautiful women in the world. Shout out to because, you know what I mean, a woman is like the beautifulest thing, one of the beautifulest things that happened to Earth in itself.
Right.
But I feel like due to all the things that they went through and adversity and issues they had to deal with, it's one extreme to another. Mm-hmm. So I feel like, in my personal opinion, I don't believe a woman should just be in the kitchen and cook meals and, you know what I mean, just be the stay-at-home mom, right? Because that's how the world, society set it up at one point in time. And then now it's just all the way left, the independent woman. I don't need a man. I don't need to do this. I'm going to sell my ass. I'm going to sell my pussy. I'm going to sell my body. I'm going to do this.
Right.
I feel like neither one is correct.
Right.
So when I say I'm not interested in these new dots, I feel like women want the respect, and they're doing way better than they were before, and they're making society respect them. But I feel like it's certain things that are done now that, like, still hold them back, even though they think it's a positive.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's where that line comes from. Like, yes, I don't believe a woman should be in the kitchen. I don't believe a woman is a man's slave. But I also don't believe you should be showing your, you know what I mean? Because, like, now women feel like, yo, I got to catch a man. I got to catch a man. And it's like, yeah, you showing your ass, you showing your pussy, you showing your titties on Instagram. You're going to catch them. You're going to catch their attention, but are you going to keep them? Right. And if you do keep them, what are they there for? Are they there because they want you, or they just want what you're advertising? And I think a lot of women nowadays get that confused.
Right.
Like, yeah, he's interested. Yeah, he's texting you back, and he might text you back after he hits. But it's just to do it again.
Right.
You know what I mean? Unless you're offering something else. And as men, they say, well, if that's the case, then why y'all hitting it? Because, I mean, it's attractive. That's what we want.
It's attractive.
But after we get that, what keeps a man there with a woman is what do you have to offer after that?
Right.
Do you set, like, what people don't understand in life, right? And the confusion, and why I always, anytime not with women, but like with anybody in life, anytime there's any confusion with me, and it comes from boundaries, it's from people that never got boundaries set.
Right.
So when you say, yo, listen, I don't want to talk about this, and somebody's confused, like, yo, but I said, yo, you got to respect my boundaries. So I say all that to say, like, woman, you're not setting the boundaries. You're not setting, like, yeah, you can get this, but after this, once you set that, you know what I mean, you've unlocked a whole new dimension and character for yourself. But when it's just accessible that fast, it's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, cool.
It is what it is. So
That's a great moment.
Yeah, that's where that line comes from.
But he might be your father because he was letting the bullets out the fifth. What good is your arsenal if your weapons are without the clip? He was getting to it.
Yeah, that's the Arsenal battle, right?
Right,
Yeah,
right. That was a good turn on that.
Yeah.
So, DNA versus ill will.
Yes, sir.
They don't call you ill will because you got an ill will and you a mean nigga. They call you ill will because, like the last will, you going down to a Queens nigga.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great flip right there.
Yeah, rest in peace to ill will. Nah,
Right.
man, for sure.
Right. How'd you put that together?
Nah, I mean, that was just me being from Queens, going against somebody named Ill Will, and you know what I mean, Smack rooting for him, Smack
Right.
being from Queens, like, yo, what are you doing?
Right.
You know what I mean, that battle was just all, like, that's the first time I ever wrote with a chip on my shoulder at that time in my career, and it worked out for me.
Right.
Because I was like, I didn't even care about Ill Will, because him talking shit saying he could beat me, that's what he's supposed to do. He's new.
Right.
But Smack, not only him being from Queens and him being like, the owner of URL, it's like we got a rapport, we got a relationship. Like, you like my big brother. What are you talking about?
Right.
This nigga can't fuck with me. So, you know what I mean? Ill Will was just an innocent bystander.
Right.
All that work was like, Smack, what are you talking about?
Right.
So I went crazy.
Right. What's cool about that is knowing what a will is, and you know, is it being in his name. So that was super cool. That really stood out to me. What advice would you give to aspiring young battle rappers?
Make sure you know your character before you get in this game, because they're going to try to divert from it. And you know what I mean? Like, same thing as the industry. It's designed to make you quit. So, you know what I mean? Listen to the haters, listen to the critics and all the people that have something negative to say. But, and it's a tough thing to do, be able to take the parts out of it that you think you need to work on, but also don't listen to all of it, because some of it is just, you know what I mean, bullshit.
Right.
And at first, don't even pay, you know what? Don't pay attention to them at first.
Right.
Because they'll make you start doing some whole other shit and get you off your game. So, yeah, scrap all that. To all the inspiring battle rappers, do you at the beginning. Don't pay attention to comments. Don't let other people shift you from what it is that you're trying to accomplish, and do, you know what I mean? Know your character, know your gimmick, what you're trying to convey, what message are you trying to get across, and be true to yourself.
Right. So you've battled in a variety of different leagues. URL, KT, KOTD, and Don't Flop. So how does the vibe and atmosphere different from league to league?
So Don't Flop, they're heavy on lyricism. You know what I mean? They wanna hear you get in the pockets, you know what I mean, high syllable rhyming, doing all that. King of the Dot, kind of the same way. URL, you could do that, but URL is kind of street. They want to hear you be disrespectful, be in your pocket, punchlines, you know what I mean, metaphors, schemes. It's like that's what it's about, you know what I mean?
Do you have a preference of where you like to battle?
Nah, I feel like I'm one of the most dangerous battle rappers because I'm able to battle at all of them. Like, I feel like I personally, I needed to battle at all of them to reach the level that I reached. Because I feel like certain people are only good for King of the Dot or only good for URL. I never wanted to be limited.
Right.
So me being able to battle on all different leagues and all over the world made me as dangerous as I am right now.
Right. So you've done some acting, right? You were in a movie called Bodied.
No, I wasn't in there.
Wasn't it?
Nah, I was supposed to be.
You were supposed to be in it.
Yeah, I wasn't in there.
So would you want to pursue acting?
Yeah, I'm working on that right now.
Okay.
Quiet as kept, I'm working on that right now.
And what kind of roles do you fit? What kind of roles do you feel like you fit?
I wanna range from all different types.
Right.
I mean, like, shout out to The Rock, because The Rock, at first he was getting all roles that pertained to like a wrestler.
Right.
And then at some point he was getting like discouraged because he wanted to show, you know what I mean, his range.
Right.
And then he started picking it up. But I'm cool with starting off as a rapper. Like, put me in a role as a rapper. Like, not necessarily acting, but getting into shows. Shout out to my guy, Big Tank. Right now, I just had one of my songs placed on the Praise This movie on Peacock, the gospel movie with Chloe Bailey and Drewski.
Right.
So, like, my song called Work is featured in that movie.
Right.
You look at the ending credits, you see my name, Eric St. John, and DNA pop up.
Right.
And that's just the first of, like, I got like a whole bunch of placements.
Right.
And I got some other things lined up that I can't really talk about right now. But yeah, stay tuned. Like, definitely in acting. I had like a couple situations in the years prior that I was supposed to be on some shows, some series, and certain things fell through. But yeah, that's definitely like the next level of what I'm doing is acting in other people's stuff and then acting in my own stuff, writing my own stuff, doing all that.
How many times? So now, are you battling as often?
Nah. I battle way less than I used to. I got a wrestling podcast going on.
Right. Give it a shout out. Let us know.
Yeah, Attitude Era podcast. So today we just interviewed Mankind, Mick Foley.
Right.
And I mean,
Super
Cactus
dope.
Jack, do love. Yesterday we interviewed Val Venus, Marty Jannetty, who's Shawn Michaels' partner.
Right.
Eugene. On the podcast, we done had The Godfather, Rikishi, Devon Dudley, Sergeant Slaughter, Mark Henry, Raven. So like the podcast is going crazy right now, like going viral in a lot of clips. So I work on that. I got my show on Caffeine. So I kind of like, you know what I mean? Like how when the basketball players stop playing basketball, they start becoming analysts. I'm like a battle rap analyst. I got my own show on Caffeine. When URL does their pay-per-views and I'm not battling on it, I host them. You know what I mean? Yeah, I be doing like all type of stuff like that in terms of media and all that. And just being a dad and all that, I can't commit. Because my whole thing is, could I just take money from a bunch of leagues and do battles? For sure. Like, that's second nature. But to put in the effort that I want to put in, it takes a lot of time. So I don't just, you know what I mean, want to play around with that and show up half-assed. So I don't do it as much because, you know what I mean, it takes a lot for me to get to that 120% that I want to get to.
Right. I feel that. So what would be your message to your younger self?
Patience. I feel like a lot of times I didn't stick with things because I was like an instant gratification guy. Like I wanted instant results, so I would start something, and if I didn't see the results that I wanted to see immediately, I would leave it alone. And now, you know what I mean? Like even what I said, like with the wrestling podcast, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, at first I'm like, yeah, we're about to go crazy, go viral, boom, 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 and then when it didn't happen like that, you know, the old me would have just been like, all right, well, I'm done. I'm on to the next thing.
Right.
But now being at this age now, I know it takes time.
Right.
And it's a great thing that I stuck with it because the growth that came after that is like amazing. So yeah, patience.
We're definitely in the same boat, you know. Conversation with Lloyd been around 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, so it's been a long journey, but, you know, it's been everything it needed to be, you know, from just doing it to bring a positive perspective to the hood. Like, the hood is the hood, but there's a lot of beautiful things that come from it. You know, it teaches you life. It teaches you perspective. It teaches you how to be on point. And there's also people that live in the hood that had to adapt to it. Like me, I'm not an aggressive person, but you got to know when to swing, when to run, you know, when to, he said he got a hard foul in the court and he said he's going to be back. That means you probably shouldn't let him leave, or you probably get the fuck out of there, you know what I mean? So you got to witness your first little shootout to be like, oh shit, that's what that means, you know? So, but there's also promoting education, promoting sports. Pretty much for me, it's staying in your lane. Whatever your lane is, be great at it and stay in it. Because when you divert from that or do other things, that's how you get jammed up and you crash out because you were being someone you're not. Yeah. So I want to promote going to school. I love school. I always love school. I always love reading. I'm from the South Bronx, so there's certain things for me that I can't shy away from because, you know, that's the kind of environment I grew up in, you know what I mean? Like it was the early mid-90s, early 2000s. It was crazy out there, you know? So, You got to learn how to trust your gut, trust your instincts, how to move. And I feel like that helps me maneuver as a man. But also, we don't have to continue to push that narrative, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Finish school, go to school, city, whatever you want to do, just do it. You know what I'm saying? Just stay consistent and seek your purpose. You know, when you living in your purpose, I feel like life really goes your way.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So,
I feel, yeah, I definitely felt like with myself, like I said, even just the wrestling podcast, because I don't watch wrestling like that no more, but I was a big wrestling fan as a kid, like Stone Cold, The Rock, Attitude Era, and all that. And now, you know what I mean, 20-some years later, I got a podcast called the Attitude Era Podcast. All these guys I'm watching, I'm interviewing them, so.
That's beautiful. That's fire, man. So let us know where we can find you and shout out anything you need to shout out.
Yeah, for sure. Make sure y'all go get my last project that I did called The Victus, produced by Rain on all streaming platforms. Make sure y'all go get his project, Titles and Nobility, on all streaming platforms. And y'all can follow me on Instagram at The Real DNA GTFOH, Twitter, DNA_GTFOH, and TikTok at DNA GTFOH.
Absolutely, man. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment. Shout out to Gabriel's Beloved.
Yes, sir.
Check this out. I appreciate you for your time.
I appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you. Got you.
That means a lot to me. So we out. Take care. Peace and love, world. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, support the channel, show your love. You know what I'm saying? We having great conversation week in and week out. You never know who's coming. You never know what we're going to do. But at the end of the day, it's all about peace and love. So make sure you like, subscribe, comment.